4-year extension. A deal that gives him $12 million available in incentives. A deal that gives him $17 million fully guaranteed. And a deal that makes him the 7th highest paid running back in the National Football League on a per year basis. We're talking about Rhamondre. We're talking about a guy that we've been talking about for quite a while as a under the radar. Why is nobody drafting him high? Why is he falling into the 7th, 8th, and 9th rounds of fantasy football drafts when he's a proven top 10 running back? Top 5 to 7 running back, he's proven. But people are scared. People are looking at last year going, he was misused last year. But we've been talking about a moon man.
The moon man dropping loads in outer space.
We're talking about this moon man that we've been talking about for a while here on this channel right now. Where does his ADP climb to because of this news? Because we said this, if a contract comes, the value's no longer going to be there. People are going to be like, wow, I guess they do want to use him maybe like they used to use him before Bill Belichick decided to sit on him like he was an unusable toy. But now, Stevenson's looking like he's ready to potentially get back to work, and that means that he could be a running back 2/running back 3 monster in 2024. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Now, this isn't like our favorite player of all time. This isn't somebody that I think you lock into your top 4 or 5 running backs or anything like that. Weird expectations when you've got a plethora of running backs like we've never seen before rising up to become absolute monsters in the NFL for 2, 3, 4 years. The changing of the guard. You got Bijan, you got Gibbs, you got Breece Hall, you got Achane, you've got Kyron Williams, you've got a handful, JT still. You've got tons of players that, and Barkley resurging. Not a lot of room to crack any sort of top 5, 6, or 7, but is this a borderline top 10 running back that you do not pay top 10 running back value for? If you think that's what I'm suggesting here, you're completely misunderstanding the live stream. You also have misunderstood what we've said for weeks and weeks and weeks now, that Rhamondre Stevenson is one of the biggest steals late in a draft that you can find at the RB position. A potential running back, a low-end running back 1 or running back 2, maybe. You don't count on it. You don't expect it. You just wait and you sit and you decide to almost stash him in a way at 86 overall, running back number 21. He's nowhere near running back 1 value. He's barely a running back 2. He's probably more of a flex play. And yet, you may see his ADP climb from 86 to maybe 80. I don't think this news will make him climb into the 50s or 60s, but where we like this value is in that 80 overall territory. Looking at a draft I'm in right now on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, where you can get your first deposit matched up to 50%. Go to Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. If we look at the ADP data, let's see here. Let me get back to my drafts, my active drafts. Let me find where all my active drafts at. Let me close the app and go back in. Let's take a look at where I've seen him go as of late. I don't know. It's not loading right now. That's right. 86 overall. 86 overall, people. That is a fantastic place of entry for Stevenson. Do I like Zamir White a little bit better? Probably. Do I like Najee with Jalen Warren a little better? Maybe. Do I like Connor and Benson cuffed together? Yes, I do. Do I think Stevenson and I mean, you could say Gibson or whatever. I don't know that I even care about cuffing them whatsoever. But would I rather have standalone value like Stevenson over that kind of cuffing situation? No, I think the cuffing situation is one of the more important ways to secure your fantasy football production week in and week out. And so Connor and Benson are in my top 4 overall cuffs for the entirety of the 2024 fantasy football season. Warren and Harris, Brown and Zach Moss, those handcuff situations are a little bit more attractive than just a standalone Stevenson with a team that has a rookie quarterback potentially all year long, that has some proof of not developing wide receivers properly. This team could be better than anybody expects, but it might take about a full year of trying things out to get to where they need to be. But they're going to lean upon Stevenson. Stevenson's a PPR machine, and he's going to catch a whole lot of footballs. And he's going to be a safety net and safety mechanism for May when he gets into the lineup. If he does start right away or very soon, he'll be leaning upon Stevenson. Stevenson could be the top pass catcher in this New England Patriots system. So very, very much love the value of Stevenson. That's why he's been a Moon Man for how many weeks now?
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
So go check it out. Let me pull up let's see. There we go. Okay, let me pull up a draft right here and see where Stevenson was going. I have let's go to a marathon and just take a look at where he went in the last marathon. So 86 overall is about in the right around the end of or the beginning of round 8. So you're talking about Jonathan Brooks. You're talking about Stevenson right there. He went at 90 overall. Zamir White, Zach Moss, DeAndre Swift. Joe Burrow went right before him. Right below him, guys like Jaylen Warren. That's a good place. There's no risk at all. There's no risk at all at that territory. You like Zeus better? That's fine. You like Zeus better? You like Jonathan Brooks better? That's fine. You like Benson and Connor better? That's fine. There's no argument there. Those are preference. Those are rotational moves that you make if you're building your team one way and then you want to diversify your portfolio and go Zamir White the next draft. That is totally fine. No one should be drafting Stevenson over and over and over. There's some risk involved. That's why he's fell, to the depths that he's fallen. But there's a time and a place to say enough's enough. Enough's enough. Stevenson needs to be grabbed. He needs to be grabbed in at least a few of your leagues. He needs to be at least 10% ownership of your teams if he continues to linger in the 8th and 9th round. 90 overall, we're almost talking about backup running backs at that point. We're talking about running backs like, look, I'm looking at Blake Corum there. Okay, Blake Corum. We've got Austin Eckler. We've got Chase Brown. I like Chase Brown. Zeke Elliott, Zach Charbonnet, Ty Chandler. We're talking about right when you get to before those names are mentioned, Stevenson goes. There's no complaint here. You shouldn't have an argument or a rebuttal for this. You really shouldn't. Hey, Smitty, but what? He's going in the 90s. He's going in 86 to 94. I just saw him at 94, 90, and 86. He's going between 86 and 94 in 3 random leagues that I just grabbed and plucked out of there. What is your argument? How can you say anything negative about Stevenson? Like, but what? But what? He's been a PPR top 5 monster before? The team just gave him an extension. You don't think they're going to use him? You're worried about Gibson catching passes from one of the best receiving backs in the National Football League? Like, he is one of the best PPR backs, period. Do they know how to use him? I don't know. Will he be as good as he was once? I don't know. I don't think so. We can't assume that good, but he could be. And the good news is if he wasn't, you're still easily getting your value back. He has to crap the bed so hard. 800 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns is where you're probably drafting him. He could be a 1,000-yard running back. Let's call him a 1,400 total yard running back and 8 touchdowns and 50 receptions. Something along those lines. That right there could do very, very well for you at 8th and 9th round value. There's just nothing to argue here. It doesn't mean you have to own him in every league. It doesn't mean you need to have, this guy queued up every single time you're at pick 90 even. I'm not saying he has to be your pick 90 every time. But if you keep passing on him and you don't give him a shot, a guy that last year had 619 yards and 4 touchdowns, 38 receptions in probably his worst year he could possibly drum up. He had a 4 touchdown and an 800, 900 yard total season. It was a horrible year for him. Year prior, 1040 and 5, 69 receptions, 421 and a touch. This guy could have easily, he could sleepwalk into 45, 50 receptions for about 350, 400 yards. Sleepwalk. So I like the value. Hit me with it. Dial into the show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. Your boy's here to answer. I don't know why my old playoff screen's coming up. Love this community and you keep us ready. Thank you, that boy. Appreciate you dropping the $2 super chat, my big man. And then let's see here. Celebratory message. Nothing yet. Just making sure. Dial into the phone line if you want to talk about Stevenson. Here again is the top paid running backs in the National Football League. Christian McCaffrey with 19 mil a season. Alvin Kamara with 15 mil a season. Jonathan Taylor, 14 mil a season. And as you can see, Jacobs and Mixon and Barkley. And then Rhamondre at 9. 716 caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Smitty, what's up, buddy? My name is Sean, calling from a little bit south of Buffalo, New York.
All right, what's up, Sean?
Well, not too much, man. How you been?
I'm good. What can I do for you?
I was calling in. You said to call in, so I'm calling in.
Well,
man.
you got a question?
I love the.
You got what do you think about Stevenson?
I could drum up a question. Yeah. Let's talk about what your thoughts are on what is the receiving core for the Buffalo Bills going to look like this year.
I mean, we
Coleman
love
to be one. Curtis Samuel. What are you looking at?
I mean, Coleman's the guy. I think Coleman's got the drive. There's a big vacancy. I think that Shakir's a good option for a number 2. I don't think he's a number 1, but I think he's a very decent 2. Kincaid most likely be the team's best, target all year long, but Coleman will be up and down as rookies are, and he's learning on the fly. He's being thrown to the fire, which is good. Feet to the fire makes you learn, but it also makes you have mistakes. So he'll have some inconsistent games, some drops, things that happen like Christian Watson did when Aaron Rodgers was yelling at him left and right, and he'd do bad, then do good, and then all of a sudden by the end of the year, Christian Watson and Aaron Rodgers were fast friends. They were pushing the bunk beds together. They were ready to take the league by storm. And so the same thing I think will happen with Keon Coleman. He's such a good, hardworking kid. The community loves him. He's great on camera. Everybody wants to hear him talk, and he's not distracting with it. I did say when I first saw him interviewed, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be a Jameis Winston type of situation where it's like every time he talks, you're like, what is going on here? But he's funny. He's entertaining. Such a hardworking kid. Very respectful. The way he's reached out to Andre Reed and just had all these different things, that you've seen pop up. I like him. I think he's going to develop really well. And the fact that Josh Allen said that he was the one wide receiver he wanted to throw footballs to makes me feel like this is a fantastic situation brewing. So for some reason, Sean, your phone isn't playing nice with the phone line. Nobody else can be added. I keep trying to add other people that are calling in. So call back in like 2 or 3 minutes, bro. Dial in whoever was calling. I think Travis was calling. A couple other people were calling in. Scared Scott was calling in. I don't know, for some reason people's phone lines don't play nice. So dial in and then you can call back in, bro. I'll add you back. But yeah, to answer that question, sum total, I love the long-term value. I will say that I'm a little disappointed that Buffalo didn't get ultra aggressive. I don't care about the money. Everyone keeps talking about the money. You can find room, move things around. The cap is fictitious in some ways. I know there's some limitations at some point, but everybody talking about Buffalo couldn't afford to move up, and yeah, they could have. They could have done whatever they wanted to. They should have went and got Rhamondre Stevenson. But at the end of the day, I think Keon Coleman's going to look really, really good. And I think he's going to be a very, very nice receiver. I think he could be the number 2 or 3 rookie wide receiver producer. And then obviously Neighbors, once he gets a quarterback, is game on. Once Keenan Allen falls off completely, walking into next year, which is very likely, not an absolute lock, but very likely, then all of a sudden Odunze steps up even more, and I think he'll show signs of being great. Even with Caleb there, Caleb is still going to be able to deliver the ball to him. Caleb's not incompetent. Caleb Williams has an arm. It's just a matter of, is Caleb Williams a winner? Is Caleb Williams a leader? Can Caleb Williams not end up doing what Fields did for the Bears? And that was the Bears' fault, but I just see that same thing happening with Caleb, where he produces, he's up and down, and then all of a sudden he's with another team 4 years from now. What's up? What's up, Travis?
Hey, how's it going? We had a feeling, like you said, that this extension was coming, so
yeah,
it just solidifies that he's going to be the guy. And for people that are worried about, we don't know what the new group is going to do, stuff like that. Alex Van Pelt coming from the Browns, and you saw what they did with Jerome Ford last year, and I think they threw to him 44 times alone, so they're not afraid to throw to their running backs. And I don't know why people underestimate his PPR ability. I don't know if it's because maybe he's a 225, 230 pound back. He doesn't fit that mold of the normal looking PPR back or whatever, but he could easily catch 50 balls, no problem, like you said.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is there's going to be people that they're judging him off of his old value. Like, wake up. Like, slap yourself in the face and realize what you're saying. Like, when you're like, I don't know if he can, how can he be a top 10 running back? No one needs him to be a top 10 running back. That's, if you're lucky and you get that, you win your league. If you don't, you're getting your value back. Your ROI is almost guaranteed, assuming he stays healthy. Like, you're taking him at 86 to 94 overall. It's crazy. And the reason he hit the Moo Man list whenever we put him on many weeks back was because we could, and I came on here and told you guys, I could smell a contract extension coming. It's coming. They're working on it. And the moment they show their love for Rhamondre, the new regime, you know where he stands. They're not paying this man number 7 overall running back money, giving him incentives to the moon. He's got incentive structure that gives him, $14 million in possible incentives. What do you think? What do you think Rhamondre Stevenson is going to do to try and get that $14 million? Everything he can. So he's getting a $17 million guaranteed number embedded in this extension. He's getting $14 million in incentives. So you tell me if you think this regime is leaning toward not using him. I don't think so. And you tell me if Stevenson's not hungry to recapture some of the value he had when he was a top 5 running back. Again, not saying to expect it, not saying that I would even remotely have him close to my top 5, because my top 5 is full of Gibbs and Hall and Bijan. I don't have room for Stevenson. Someone that likes Stevenson a lot, who put him on the Moon Man list, cannot even come close to having him in the top 5. But that doesn't mean he can't do it. It doesn't mean he can't dance with the top 5 here and there. Doesn't mean he can't finish as a 8 to 12 running back off of this team's contract show of good faith and the incentives built in. Like, this guy's going to absolutely try and rip those incentives up. He's got $12 million available. $12 million, not 14. $12 million available in incentives per Ian Rappaport. That is unbelievable. $12 million. That's a lot of money to be fighting for.
Yeah, and in terms of usage, like, Belichick didn't use him a ton, but then before he got hurt, if you look at weeks 9 until he got hurt in week 13, he went 9 for 87 with 42 yards PPR. Then he went 20 for 88, 21 for 98, and then 9 for 39 and he got hurt. But so they were even starting to ramp him up a little bit last year when he was healthy finally. And he got hurt again. So, the injury thing is definitely a hurdle. You got to make sure he's going to be able to play the full season. But
Ziggy, how old is
if he comes into
Rhamondre
camp
Stevenson?
healthy, he'll be a lot better off.
Yeah.
From Wikipedia.org. A 29-year-old Stevenson turned professional in September 2006.
That's not him. Ziggy, how old is Rhamondre Stevenson? You imbecile.
From biographymask.com.
Ziggy off. I just want to get his birthday. Rhamondre Stevenson, age. He is 26 years old, turned 26 in February on the 23rd. So, I mean, he's playing 26. He plays out 27. He could maybe play out 28. Again, that's your hold your breath. Not every running back can do it season. That's the one Eckler just failed to deploy. That's the one CMC's about to go into. That's the one that Aaron Jones failed to deploy fully last year. That's the one that Alvin Kamara fluttered out at the end of it, in 28. So you have at least 2 years of, at this cost of entry, I'm fine. You're in a dynasty league where you're struggling bad at RB, you're loaded at wide receiver, maybe you're even drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. because your team got hit hard and you were able to get that one pick, or you traded for it. You've got Josh Allen or Hurts or Mahomes, you've got MHJ, Debo, and you've got, one Kyron Williams, and you've got really some holes everywhere. You could probably still, I don't know off this news if it'll change, but you could probably still go get Stevenson in a dynasty league for some sort of future later draft capital. Not saying everybody would do it for a second or a couple seconds, but I've seen crazier things happen. So why not take a stab at an RB that could get you top 10 running back numbers, get you a championship while you're molding and sculpting your dynasty team? Absolutely love Stevenson's value across the board. And again, the last point I'll say before I give it over to Scared Scott and then back to Travis is that no one is telling you to count on top 5 running back numbers. In the intro video of my show in year 1 of this channel, I had a clip that said top 5 running back. Raise your hand if anybody remembers the intro video that was played through the entirety of the year 1 season of this channel. It was top 5 running back, and it showed Dalvin Cook on the screen, and boom. Dalvin Cook was a top 5 running back prospect. He tore his ACL. He came back from that ACL tear, had a compensation injury, something you hear me talk about all the time, hamstring problems, had a bad year. Next year came in, your boy Smitty said, he's a top 5 running back, but guess what? You don't have to draft him until the end of round 2, sometimes top of round 3. Dalvin Cook was a top 5 running back that year. I put that boldly in the intro of every single video I did preemptively, putting my balls on the line, because every video had top 5 running back. But you know what people said? Smitty, he can't be a top 5 running back. He's too risky to be a top 5 running back. And every day, I'd throw my arms up and say, you're drafting him at 22 overall. Are you not listening to what I'm saying? He's a top 5 running back that you're paying top 25 overall value for, 20 to 25. It's not the same thing. Rhamondre Stevenson's a top 10 running back that you don't need to pay top 10 running back numbers for. Stop saying, I don't know if he can be a top 10 running back. Stop being scared like Scott. On that note, Scared Scott, you're live.
You're on mute, brah.
Scott, hello.
Sorry.
Hello. What's up?
What's going on, Smitty?
What can I do for you?
Not much. Let's see here. Rhamondre. Totally agree. Just a high ankle sprain, should be fine, healthy this year, and incredible value. And you don't have to draft running backs as early, I think, at this time. So, no, I think to the moon on him, because I agree with you. That pick as your second running back is fabulous. Throw a little Jalen Warren in and around later. And you got, with whoever you take as your first back, you're doing well.
Thank you,
also
sir.
in that area,
Evan Ingram. I can't. I'm going through these redrafts, and I can't believe how far he's fallen. 100 receptions last year. You could see it the year before because I live down in St. Augustine now, and I've got Jag season tickets. You could see it the year before. He would get 2-3 catches in a row, and they just forget him. And he was playing great. They didn't forget him last year. They're not going to forget him this year either because they've downgraded at receiver, losing Ridley. I'm not afraid of the rookie receiver. By all accounts, his route running needs development, so he's just a speedster. So I think Ingram in that area is great. There's just so much value in that 5th, 6th, 7th.
Okay, I got you. Let me interrupt this because you're going on for a while there. Okay.
What I'm scared of. Here's what I'm scared of.
Hurry up.
The beginning of frickin' drafts. I don't want that pick. I don't want anything in the first 7 picks.
What are you
I want
saying?
out of it because the second round sucks so bad by that point that I don't want it.
Well, I disagree. I disagree with you. The Kyron Williams, the Achane, the who cares if people say go Josh Allen if you need to, the Deebo Samuels.
Dude,
there's tons of players.
I have done 4 money redrafts, and I picked up Achane 3 times late in the 3rd round.
Yeah, well, you're not always going to get both of them, though. You can do that. One of the best strategies you can have this year is to take Jamar Chase or take Tyreek Hill or take CeeDee Lamb. You get one of those receivers that you're talking about not wanting to be around that ADP. Well, I'll take that all day long. Give me Jamar Chase, Kyron, and Achane. Hold on a second, Scared Scott. I'm trying to give you a formula to win your championship. You take Jamar Chase.
Okay, give me
you
that
take
formula,
Kyron.
Smitty.
Scott, I get.
Finish him. Call terminated.
You're in timeout for 5 minutes, Scott. Trying to give you the formula. Call back in 5 minutes, Scott. No show for you. 5 minutes. You take Jamar Chase at 5 or 6 or wherever the hell you're getting him 4. You draft Kyron and Achane. You have 2 top 5 running backs that you drafted in round 2 and 3. Yes, you can get one of them in 3. I'm telling you what you just said was false. That round 2 sucks. It doesn't suck because you can grab the other one. You grab Achane or Kyron in 2. You grab the other one in 3. You thank your lucky stars. You're thankful for that, right? Like Tank Dell. And you grab Tank Dell too, around 4 or 5 if you want. But that is not... I just wanted to interrupt Scott from trying to deter people away from wanting a second round pick. But anyway, Scott, you can call it again. You're out of timeout. Just... I don't know. Let me get these super chats out of the way. Stevenson is a good 0 RB running back. Absolutely rock out. Rhamondre gets underrated because he doesn't generate a lot of those long runs. True and little false and true. There's a lot of truth to this. I don't know if he doesn't generate it. I just don't know if he's been put in the right proper positions lately to do it. He very much could. He's such an amazing receiver too, but I think the downside is more so that they just feel like people feel like they can't trust that he'll be used. But I think the contract today suggests that they will. Overcome says the people need a Kincaid emoji. I could have swore I had one. I don't know if it got... I don't know if we lost it. Once we open up more emojis, when we get more gifted memberships and we get to a certain threshold, it opens up another slot. We'll put Kincaid in there. It's a really good point. Kincaid needs an emoji. And Justin says the Patriots quietly had a solid rebuilding season. I agree. You take 2 quarterbacks. You got Drake May, and you get Milton, who's just a nice prospect for sure. And then maybe you Taysom Hill, Milton. You use him all over the field. Then you get 2 wide receivers, kind of double up season, right? You take Polk. You take the better wide receiver than Polk, Javon Baker, in my opinion. You re-sign Stevenson. I like what's going on there. I think they got a lot of upside. I just don't know if they're ready now. Not that they couldn't be. Not that May couldn't pull a Stroud and have that kind of year. It's possible. I'm just going to bank on it being 1 year away. But Stevenson's a fantastic 86 to 94 overall value. Like Scared Scott said, who's scared of everything, and he loves it. If he loves it, you can love it. Justin, appreciate you. And As for the
Motion
Ingram,
detected at the front door.
as for the Ingram comment, it's probably Scott at my door right now. As for the Ingram comment, the fear is he's 29 years old. Ziggy, how old is Evan Ingram? When's he turned 30?
Evan Engram is 29 years old and was born on September 2nd, 1994.
94. God, it's so depressing when you see when a lot of these players are born. You know, like especially with the players that are born like in 2002, 2003. It's like, what in the hell? They didn't even experience Y2K. But Ingram turns 30. And Ingram has had a long injury history. He has. I mean, he didn't have injuries last year. His targets were also kind of almost a ridiculous amount last year. So the fear is that he's gonna wall bang. It's always people we never recognize. Wall bang says, hell no, top 10. What the F? LOL. Okay. Thanks, Wallbang. Appreciate you. Come back for more later. We're talking about an almost untappable or unrepeatable target experience that Ingram had. He was completely greenlit except for week 1 in the target column. It's this. Let me put it on the far column. I don't know if you can see it. The far column. It's all greenlit. 8, 8, 8, 8, 7, 7, 10, 7, 8, 8, 9, 12, 6, 15, 6, 13. That target share is hard to count on. So it's not that he can't be a good value. I like where Ingram is going. He's getting forgotten, kind of like Scott said. 10 gifted memberships by Superfish. 10 gifted memberships by Superfish. Back-to-back 10 wads by Super. Going to Saturn. Appreciate you, Superfish.
To Saturn.
But this 6'3", 240-pound, often injury-prone monster, not injury-prone as of late, the concern is age. The concern is that there are a lot of mouths to feed, and can you count on the replication of ridiculous target share? So I don't know. I like him, and keep in mind he only had 4 touchdowns. He had 0 touchdowns entering week 12. So he had he got rushed with targets and a handful of touchdowns in the final weeks of the season. He had 3 games in the final 5 games. 3 of the final 5 games he had over 12 targets per game. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm not saying he's not a great value. I'm just trying to explain why he's being ranked around tight end like 7, 8, instead of number 4. It's logical, especially with the rise of Kyle Pitts back up, especially with Kincaid's rise, Andrews' return. You could say you like Ingram's value over Andrews' value. I totally get that. Travis Kelce, Laporta. There's a lot of reasons why you would see Ingram as tight end 6, 7. That's all I'm saying. I guess Scott ain't calling back in. Scott probably got pissed off. Travis, you're live.
Yeah.
Thank you, Superfish.
I got to jump in a minute, but I did want to point out that I see a lot of people still. It seems every year people think Antonio Gibson is going to play this huge role or be a breakout running back, and I think he can be a really nice piece on a team because he's athletic. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can do a little bit of everything, but he's not going to, like you mentioned, he's not going to take away from Rhamondre. If Rhamondre Stevenson healthy, he's going to be a borderline 3-down back, right? And Gibson will have his own set of plays. He'll spell Rhamondre, but it's not going to be eating into his workload at all. So I wouldn't worry about that at all because there are people. I saw several people talking about Gibson.
That's like saying, okay, you got the best steak chef in the country. I'm not saying Stevenson's the best, but he's one of the best receiving backs in the league. And then you bring in another decent receiving back. I mean, Gibson's a good receiving back. I would say better than decent. But how is he gonna take away from Stevenson? Are you gonna sit Stevenson, the actual top 5, 6 pass catching RB in the league, for a guy that you could make arguments is a top 15 pass catching running back in the National Football League from a skill set perspective, not a consistency or reliability, or that he's going to be there at the end of the day and healthy. Fumbles the damn ball all the time. Like, you're telling me just because his skills happen to linger in the categories of Rhamondre, he's going to take Rhamondre's job? That's like saying Kyron Williams is going to lose his job to Blake Corum. It's just like Gibson has nothing to do with it. Gibson's potentially a good cuff if you feel like if Stevenson went down, you'd need that PPR work to get you through a week. Like, sure. But, like, Gibson, he does what Stevenson does lesser. How is he getting work?
Right.
People are wild.
He even has, he's got, like you said, he's got more injury concern than Rhamondre does. I would say he's always banked up. So, but I got to jump, Smitty, but I'll be in the chat and I'll
Later,
see you
bro.
for the 8 o'clock show.
All right. Appreciate you, Travis. Scott, you can call back in, bro. It's okay. You were banned for 5 minutes, not 50. Yeah, Gibson. I don't understand that Gibson take. I've seen it like 5 times already in the chat. What about Gibson? What about him? Doesn't everybody have a backup running back? Has anybody ever heard the story about how teams sometimes grab a backup running back just to make sure they back the position up? Everybody's got a backup running back. Everybody. And if Gibson's my backup, I'm smiling ear to ear because I know I have no competent backup behind me. Gibson's never been a workhorse. It was an experiment that the Washington Commanders successfully deployed really early on in his career, and he's never been, solid, consistent, or reliable since. Calvin Krim with the super says, "Hey Smitty, I like him better if they let May sit for a year and develop. They should be competitive and move the ball more than last year." I think you'll get your wish in the beginning. I don't think May will probably be in the lineup. You never know unless he's fully ready. I think that they like the idea of Brissett going out there, and if they win games, they won't take Brissett out. If Brissett plays really well, not amazing, but he plays really well, but not amazing, but good, they'll still take him out if they're not winning games. At some point, they'll say, look, let's throw the rookie in, if they aren't winning games. But if they're winning, Brissett stays in. I think we get Rhamondre ease back into his role with Brissett in there, hopefully. You never know. But then if May does come in, we'll feel comfortable enough with Rhamondre establishing his place in the offense, and May comes in and probably leans on him, So I'm not too worried about it. I think Brissett will do a solid job. I do hope Brissett does start initially. This is one of those things where you hear me say all the time that you better start your rookie QB if you draft him in the top, 10 or whatever. But this is one of those scenarios where the Patriots have been so off kilter for so long now. There's no harm in chasing another pick as well. Getting your record as bad as possible. Not trying to, but there's no harm in having another shot at another, top wide receiver, the top tight end, whoever you ever wanted to go after, offensive line, defensive player. You could get the best, one of the best defensive players in the draft. You could get one of the best offensive linemen in the draft. You could attack 2025 in a way that sets you up to be as your best version of the Houston Texans the previous, last year in 2025 if New England develops Drake May right and he is the real deal. Drake May's the real deal and one of Javon Baker, and Polk is the real deal. And Stevenson has 2.5-3 years left, and he gets back to form. This is a pretty good team. I'll be honest, though. Travis, get your earmuffs on. I don't know if Mayo's the guy. I don't know how I feel about him. He could be. I'm not saying he isn't. I just don't know. My answer is I don't know. I'm hoping he is. I don't get any sort of sense that he is or isn't. I'm just not, whereas I look at Atlanta, and I say, they've got it. The whole coaching tree, everything from Zach Robinson down to every single piece of that staff, I feel like they've got it. And it's going to be amazing. Kingsbury, Dan Quinn, everything going on in Washington, perfect. I love it. It's going to work. New England, not saying it'll fail. I just don't know. I have no way to measure that in my mind right now. I need to see them deliver because it seems like it's a it's an experiment, and it could work. We don't know. Maybe Mayo's ready. Maybe we just don't know how good he is. Like that, there's possibilities there for sure, but I just don't know that I sense it. We'll see. Scared Scott, you're back. Bounce back, Scott. What do you got for me?
Here's outside of the fact, it feels like second and fourth round you have to reach for somebody if you're in that first few picks, and then even the first 6 or 7 picks of the first round. What are you going to do? You're going to take a 28-year-old running back that freaking has more touches than he should?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro?
In his career,
what are you talking about?
Let's
go. Scared Scott. Let's see if you're scared here.
Justin Jefferson doesn't have a quarterback to throw to him.
Okay, so what pick are you scared about?
What? To the back of the first round, where
Scott,
I can go,
listen. What pick are you scared about?
Puka,
Scott, is your phone working?
Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's going to the moon.
Is your phone working? Can you hear me?
Garrett Wilson may be.
Scott? Can you hear me?
Receiver 1.
Can you hear me?
What's that?
Because you're just talking over me the whole time. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson to the moon.
Scott, you got one more chance, and I'm putting you back in the timeout chamber. What pick are you scared about?
Everything in the first
everything
6 or 7 picks. I don't want anything to do with it. And
okay.
I mean, I would love to have CD.
Scott, listen to me. Scott, I heard you. Just wanted to know what pick. You're scared of Jamar Chase at 5 overall?
No, I'm not scared of Chase either.
You're not scared of Lamb?
It's that second
round
pick.
Hold on. Scott, listen. Hold on. I'm going to ask you question by question. Pay attention. Are you scared of Tyreek Hill?
Yeah. A little. At 30, with so many outside issues, injured last year.
Are you scared of CeeDee Lamb?
What's that?
Are you scared of CeeDee Lamb?
No.
Okay. Are you scared of Bijan?
No.
Are you scared of Breece Hall?
Little.
A little? He scares you a little? Okay, but
issues.
So Bijan will be available to you about 90% of the time at pick number 5, 6, sometimes even 7. So what are you scared about? Are you scared about how that makes you...
6 or 7 picks, half of them are scared. So get me to the back end where I can grab some sort of combination of A.J. Brown, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams.
So what about...
Give me 2 of those 5, I'm good.
What about, do you like Debo in round 2?
Your 4th round is phenomenal.
You like Debo in round 2? Scott, stay with me, Scott. You're not paying attention. I'm asking you questions. You just keep rambling. I'm trying to help you here. Do you like Debo Samuel in round 2?
No.
Do you in your mom and pop league where MHJ could fall? He won't fall in underdog fantasy. He goes at 12, 13, 14. Do you like MHJ in round 2? I'm going to guess no.
God, no. I'm not taking some rookie receiver in the second round.
Scott.
Kidding me? You're literally drafting that guy to steal it. I don't draft anybody to steal it.
You've just been Smitty disciplined.
Scott, you win your league with MHJ in the middle of round 2. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. That's
round 2. You have to have greatest rookie receiver.
Garbage take, Scott.
I'm not doing that.
Scott, garbage take. You literally win your league. You could literally win your league with MHJ in the middle of freaking round 2. He's going in the first round. But
yeah, if he has the greatest rookie receiving season of all time,
it can't happen.
I'll let you roll that dice. Let you roll that dice.
Let's see. Do you like Drake London? He could fall in your grandma league.
No.
I can't help you. Scott. Hey, Scott, let me give you some advice. Don't draft. Don't draft at all. Don't even go into it. You're too scared to go into any sort of draft.
I want nothing to do with Drake.
I know
London.
you just
His
proved
round 3 sucks. He's a number 2. He is not a true number 1. I don't buy it. I caught last year. I watched Steve Smith talk about him, and Steve.
I want to mute. I'm gonna mute him for a little bit. Let's just let him talk. He doesn't know that he's on mute, but this guy's scared of everything. He's absolutely scared of everything. I mean, you give him a suggestion, you start talking to him about this and that. This guy's scared of everything. That's why we call him Scared Scott. Let's see if he's still talking.
I mean, he'll get accurate passes. He'll put up some numbers. But and he's going to be.
God, it's like talking to my mom. I just say, yeah. I don't know what she's saying.
He's going to finish in wide receiver territory.
Oh, good points. Cool story. Scared Scott, you need to buck up, bro. You need to buckle up your pants, pull your big boy pants up, and start looking at the values of some of these players instead of being scared. This second round is glory, bro. The second round is full of glory. You just have to know where to look. The receivers are a little light. I'm not gonna lie, but why in the hell wouldn't you go Bijan and even go Kyron or Achane in round 2 and put your balls on the table, Scott, and then take your wide receiver round 3 and 4.
Achane in redrafts is falling into the third round. It means I have to reach.
Oh,
Kyron
couldn't do that. You'd rather take a tumble
to get him in the second round that late.
You'd rather avoid the second round altogether and just take a tumble, huh? Why don't you pick value? Why don't you just pick value?
What happens if you take Bijan in the first and it comes back around and all you can do is get Kyron in the second?
I smash it.
I smash
it. The answer is the answer is I smash it, Scott.
2 of those 5 guys, and then in the third round get either Achane or Hurts, and at the beginning of the 4th round pick up Rachaad White. And then start looking at my Rhamondre Stevensons, my fucking
Scott, did you win a championship last year?
And Evan Ingram's and all that shit all down after that.
Scott, did you win a single championship last year? Be honest.
I played in 30 redrafts. I made the championship game in 11, and I won 8.
That is cap.
And this wasn't ESPN drafts. These were real money leagues.
With that attitude, I don't buy it. Scott. Scared Steve.
And I made the playoffs in 23 of the 30.
That is cap.
I don't know about that. Are these those little bar sheets where you get to pick any player you want? You just check your favorite 2 running backs, your favorite 3 wide receivers. Scared Scott, you can't walk into the season being afraid and petrified to take Kyron Williams in round 2. You can't be afraid and petrified. Okay, but you just kind of said you were. You get Bijan at number 6. Scott, you can't
Finish him.
The problem is
Call terminated.
He's not listening today. I just can't. There's only so much interrupting I can take where it's like his phone isn't working. Scott, no show for you for another 5 minutes. I'll let you call back one more time, but you got to stop talking. Guy's petrified. Hey, Smitty, I like him better if they let May sit. Oh, I read that one. Thank you, Krim, for that one. And then this one, Pelt said, Pats plan to run a lot. I believe both running backs are good value. Yeah, I'm not buying Gibson at all, but I do love Rhamondre. Here's one more. Says MHJ could have 1,400 yards in his rookie season. Just a different caliber of prospect. Not saying it will happen, but scared money don't make money. That's what I tell people all the time, and Scott doesn't apparently want to make money. He says he's making money hand over fist. I bet you all those leagues were free leagues. I played in 35 redraft leagues. They were all free. They were probably free best ball leagues, is what I'm guessing. I don't know. If Scott won championships, I'm not. Terry Roberts. Joel, appreciate you, Joel. Terry to the freaking moon. I'm glad Terry's back. Where's Terry been? Where's Terry been? He's been gone for quite some time. Good old Terry. Terry. Phone lines are open. Dial in one more call. One more call, and then I'm out of here. I'll be back for the 8 p.m. show, obviously.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Scott, you get one more chance if you want to call in, Scott. But just try to pause a little bit. Take a breath. This got to have Javon Baker on his championship team, Terry. ESPN caps you at leagues. So Scott only had 25. Desmond, what's up? You're live.
What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Good.
Good. So, what are we thinking about, like, late round running backs, late round wide receivers, talking like past 10th round, at PPR? Maybe roughly like rookies.
Running backs?
Running backs, yeah. Running backs, wide receivers, any flex position. Guys you can throw in when anyone's hurt.
After round 10. Well, I'll start in round 10 just in case. Jerome Ford, one of my favorites, bro. I mean, he's a starter.
I like Jerome Ford a lot.
He's one of the last.
Everyone's been talking about him.
He's one of the last, starters that you can grab.
Yeah.
He's a starting running back for the Cleveland Browns. No, not Nick.
I feel like in grandma league, he'll go in like 7-6.
Yeah, grandma leagues, they think Nick Chubb is like already proven back and everything. Like they don't know. I love Charbonnet, nice little stash there. Jalen Wright is great. Kendra Miller is great. These are all Vidal like in round 13, 14's fantastic. Braylon Allen.
What's wrong with Kenneth Walker? Why is
nothing?
Why can't he but why can't he come and prove to be like a top 5 running back? Why isn't he drafted like that? Is it because of Charbonnet or is it injuries?
No, I mean Pete Carroll just completely misusing him. I mean, he loved him, but he didn't use him right. Like, keep in mind, Kenneth Walker was a top 5 running back for the first month of football last year.
I love Kenneth Walker.
Like, he proved he was a top 5 running back. But then they just, I came on a live stream probably about week 4 or 5. I think maybe 5 or 6. Week 5 or 6. And I said, guys, let's have a very, very tough conversation. Kenneth Walker is a top 5 running back right now, but it's time to trade him. And people just lost their shit. People were like, I invested in him. You told me, you liar. And it's like, look, I'm an adjust and adapt person. You either ride with it or you don't. Like, I'm going to leave you behind. I'm not going to sit here and, because I said it, I'm going to stick by it. Like, things change. Right. And what I was telling people in week 5 or 6 was that, look, he's not getting the volume that supports these crazy amount of touchdowns he's getting fed. He was getting a ton of goal line touchdowns. But the thing is, we don't know, just because the regime changes, we cannot assume it's going to be for the better. Once Javonte got out from under the thumb of Nathaniel Hackett, who held him back, we thought no matter what, it's got to get better, right? Not always the case. Sean Payton seems worse, in some ways. So I don't know for sure how Kenneth Walker is going to fit, but Ryan Grubb is a very, very good offensive mind. And I don't know how he is in the pros going to use his running back and lean upon, one guy or not. He may rotate him. Tough to say. Coming from college, there's a lot of that going on in college, and there's a chance that he does lean on both of them. But I think Kenneth Walker, he's got a negative tag to him, as if he's some sort of not some sort of workhorse running back, that he's somebody that can't really get tough yards between the tackles. He needs to pop off a big run or he's never going to get it done. That's just not true. I mean, he scored multiple touchdowns in the first month of the game that made him a top 5 running back. He's very much a guy that can deliver, short yardage, opportunities. It's just he just needs consistent work. He needs to also prove he can stay healthy. I think the combination of Walker and Charbonnet give you a very awesome flex play, maybe low-end running back 2 if you're doing some sort of, heavy wide receiver, quarterback, and running back 1 build, leaving your running back 2 vacant for a while in the draft, and you come swinging around with a Zamir White, a Walker, and a Charbonnet as your rotational running back 2. But, I mean, I to answer your question, it's not, and none of it's Kenneth Walker's fault. But we don't know if that'll continue. But he's worth the value.
Do you believe in the talent of Charbonnet? Or
yeah, of course. I love
just
Charbonnet. We're disappointed that he went into a crowded backfield. We wanted him to go to a standalone location where he could start and become an absolute force. But it is what it is. But the combination of the two is a fantastic cuff. And the fact that you can get Kenneth Walker at a territory that appears to be on the regular around, I would say, I have a draft right here that I pulled up. Kenneth Walker is going in the 6th round. Another draft he's going around 7. Another draft I think he went around 8. So it's a wide range, 6, 7, 8. Depends on what format you're drafting into. If it's best ball mania, if it's not a best ball at all. But some people are just high on the name. If you're in a grandma league, that might take him around 5 or 6 just because he's an RB. It's tough to know, but I would say about 6, 7 seems safe, about where Najee is, about where Rashad White is, about where Kamara and David Montgomery and James Conner and DeAndre Swift are. And is he a lock over all those guys? No. I mean, I'd take a combination of Walker and Charbonnet and Najee and Warren and Connor and Benson and Zamir White. I think they're all very, very close, and I would just want a good portfolio of all of them. But Walker's certainly in that mix. No doubt about it.
And all those guys are going to shoot up, too. Those guys you just mentioned, all those are going to shoot up to, 4th, 3rd round. I can guarantee you. Once the league starts coming around sooner.
Yeah, but you can't have everybody shoot up, or then other players would fall, and they would. And I just can't see. I think some of them could climb, but not all of them. I mean, running. It depends where you're drafting too. But
in home leagues
maybe
value running backs.
Maybe, more. But then what is George Pickens going to fall from round 4 or 5 to 6, 7? Is Josh Jacobs going to fall out of round 4? Is Lamar going to go down, or the quarterback's going to go down? Is Zay Flowers falling out of 4 and going to be finally a 5th round staple? Is Kincaid going from 4 to 5? Is Tank Dell going from 4 to 5? You can't have people climb without people falling. It's only so much room. There's only 12 people in each of the rounds. So I don't know. I don't think you'll see the drop you're thinking. You might see somebody or climb you're thinking. You might see somebody climb, but it's going to be off news or something.
Guys,
it's going to be off of a Najee Harris practice footage or some sort of statement made by he's going to have 1,500 rushing yards this year. One of those statements is going to make Zamir White, Najee Harris, James Conner, or Benson. If Conner gets dinged up and Benson's taking starter reps the entirety of August, then all of a sudden Benson goes to round 5 or 6. I mean, something's going to happen for sure. But all of those guys, I don't know. I think you're going to see the best values in fantasy are sometimes those RBs in round 6, 7, 8. I find myself licking my chops when I'm pulling up my draft and I'm like, damn it, I'm round 7. Now it's going to be diluted. And I see Najee, Zamir White, Rhamondre, Kenneth Walker, all these RBs sitting there. And I'm like, good God, it's the best place to draft 0 RB in these leagues where you could go wide receiver, Josh Allen, Kincaid, and then even go Dell, and you have no RBs yet. And then you just grab Walker, Zamir White, Connor, Benson, 0 RB to the moon in that scenario.
Yeah.
All right, Desmond. Later,
all right,
bro.
Man. You have a go. That's it. Take it easy.
All right. I am out of here. Appreciate all of you. I think do I have more super chats that came in? Terry Roberts. Who else is here from Smitty's first year? Top 5 running back classic. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you. Hey, Smitty. Like it better if May sits. I got that one. Justin, appreciate you with your MHJ comment. Terry Roberts with another one. Terry Roberts says, who else is here for Smitty's first year on Cook top 5 running back classic? Thank you, Terry, for dropping that super chat. The double. Terry to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
Terry's back. He's back in the fold. He went missing for a little while, but that's okay. Sometimes you need a hiatus. It's okay. Terry's back. Appreciate all of you. Rhamondre Stevenson, Moon Man extraordinaire.
The Moon Man, dropping loads in outer space.
No, that was not added after this. We've been talking about this for a while. This is why he's been on the Moon Man list, because we knew that a contract extension was coming downstream. We knew that everybody, after they see the team believe in this kid, to give him an extension, which solidifies his target share, which will solidify the fact that he is, in their eyes, the new regime, Mayo and the boys. He is their de facto starting running back. He is going to be protected into PPR work. This pipe dream of Gibson taking from him, I don't know what that's even from. Anybody that says, what about Gibson? They literally have Gibson on their dynasty team, and they're just going, I have a question in the back here. Yeah. Gibson?
You've just...
Sorry. I don't even understand. Where does that come from? What about Gibson? They just gave Rhamondre a extension that pays him $17 million in new money, guaranteed. They just paid him an extension that gives him $12 million incentives. And your first question is, what about Gibson? What about, can Gibson do it? So you're saying there's a chance? Can Gibson still get the job? I just have a question from the back. Can Gibson still steal the job? Does the $17 million guaranteed dollars mean that Gibson's out? I just have a question. He's my only RB in a dynasty draft. Thank you. Appreciate you. Dude, I heard something about Javonte potentially getting cut. Is that BS? We've heard that for a little while, actually. That's not new news, but we don't know if it's true. First of all, Sean Payton will never, ever tell you the truth. He even said that in a press conference about Javonte last offseason when they said, would he be on the PUP, start the year on the PUP? Not. I don't think so. Maybe he could. I don't know. And nor would I tell you if I did know. So we have no clue. Sean Payton's not going to tell you crap in terms of the truth. So I don't know. If he gets cut, we did this on a live stream earlier. Thank you for the question, Overcome. We did this on a live stream earlier. We talked about this topic, and we hope he gets cut because we want him out of there. Maybe he gets a shot somewhere. Put Javonte in a different situation. But Sean Payton, yeah, I don't think he's a good coach. I think he was a good coach. I don't think he's a good coach anymore. Look, sometimes you jump the shark. Just because you got a good history and track record doesn't mean you just get to walk in everywhere you go. And if it's not built perfectly for you, you're going to reinvent the wheel every time. It's not going to happen. It's not like Chucky went everywhere and just started dominating everywhere. You know, Chucky didn't do that. It's not like Pete Carroll looked great at his end. It's not like Bill Belichick could even revive anything anymore. Like sometimes you jump the shark. Sometimes you get too old for the league. The league's about young coaches. The league's about defensive-minded head coaches with an offensive coordinator that becomes the secondary head coach. This league, to win, the formula seems to be it's two coaches. One is head coach, delegator-in-chief, Sirianni in Philly. You've got Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator. You got Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, coming over from the Rams. You've got Ben Johnson in Detroit, offensive coordinator, playing head coach kind of. That's the new formula. Sean Payton, all these, Tomlin's one of the last ones it seems, and I don't know if he can get it done. We keep talking about it every offseason. Keeps getting, either extended or whatever, but it's a new regime now. The coaching tree is different than it used to be. And it seems to be a winning formula. And it was laughed upon. And if you remember back, we talked about how it's actually a good strategy, and now it's widely accepted. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you.
Lift off of mission 3, 2, 1, 0.
Got him.
It was brought to my attention. I might be talking a little bit too much about the same topic lately. I've been doing a lot of JD5 posts, and I know people are saying, Smitty, I wish you could create more diverse content. You've been like 4 of your last 10 posts have been about JD5, and I just said, I don't know. I guess my reaction wasn't really the best. So I want to first acknowledge that and just say, no one's perfect. I'm always trying to get better. And I do think you won't hear any more. I'm gonna stay away from JD5 content. Never. Come on, bro. Buckle up, baby.
Live 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. Live when big news breaks like this very show right here. So I'll see you all 8 p.m. Eastern.
There are 2 5s? JD5? AR5? There can't be.
Oh no. They're gonna cross streams.
Got him.